you lost trust in your partner, who you are supposed to sort of count on, right? And then trust that this person um, love you and you matter to them. You also lose trust in yourself, right? Your importance, your attractiveness, um, and then also your own judgment, right? And that's not it. You also question your memory, what you have had. I thought we were happy. I thought that you were in this and you feel the same way about our relationship. And obviously it was all fake. So it's like I used to live in this castle and now it's all shattered. So I was telling this woman is that the life you thought you have, that you share, that was all shattered. So you are basically standing in the middle of a debris, right? That you can't trust him because he hurt you. And the evidence has proved that he's not to be trusted. And you can't trust yourself. You can't even trust that, okay, now I'm standing on the ground. Is that real?
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's why that make the whole healing process is so difficult, is that basically when you are betrayed and injured that way, how can you move if you cannot even trust your own sense?
Yeah,
I
that's so
like
well
that.
stated. And I'm hearing in there, you lose the past, right? Because also when we were celebrating my birthday, you were really texting her, right? And you lose the future, how you thought it was. So you're doing a great job explaining this is why it rattles you so much, because you kind of, I love that image. You're standing in a debris field and you don't even know if the ground under your feet is real or not.
So it's actually a very overwhelming experience. It was so overwhelming. And sometimes we see people do very unhealthy and destructive things, right? And then, so the situation was bad enough. And then the way they try to cope with the situation actually made it worse. You know, the husband who say those horrible things, you know, as a therapist, it's just really hard to empathize with him. But every time he was interrogated, that he regrets so much. He said that if there was a time machine, he will pay any money he has to go back to the moment and, you know, take those words back, because he know that he is paying the price probably for the rest of his life.
Right. That those words were as hurtful, if not more hurtful, than what actually happened. It sounds like. Yeah, that's really hard. You use the word working model, and I think we were thinking of the words view of ourself and view of other. Can you help our listeners just understand what you mean by that as a as a psychologist? Yeah. Therapist. Yeah, go ahead.
Internal working model is a part of the attachment theory that, you know, we, through our many interaction we have with our attachment figure at very young age, that there is this that working model formulated, right? So depends on the accessibility and responsiveness of our attachment figure, then we formulate this view of ourselves. For example, when I need to be comforted, right, and I reach out, and if my caretaker is available, is responsive, the message I am getting, like to interpret the situation, that the message I'm getting is that, oh, other people are dependable, right? When I am in need of help, they come to help me. And also there is a sense of myself that I am important. You know, when I ask, I get what I want. People actually, you know, I actually matter, right? I have influence. I have some control in my life, right? So this is when your caretaker is accessible and responsive. But if your caretaker is not responsive and not accessible, right? So the message that you sort of come to is that other people are not dependable. They're not going to be there for me, right? I can't trust them. I can't count on them. And also I'm alone. I have to take care of myself. that I don't matter, right? I'm not important enough for them to go out of their way to take care of me. So that's more straightforward. What's tricky is when the accessibility and responsiveness of your caretaker is unpredictable and unstable, which means that sometimes they are responsive, sometimes they were so harsh and so hurtful. So what happened to the child is that I had a good experience when they responded, right? So I know how good it feels when you need help, you need to be taken care of, you get what you want. So there is this longing and desire that I want to be taken care of. However, I can't predict how they're going to respond when I reach, right? It's not under my control. So every time I reach or I try to express my need, then I'm terrified. I'm terrified of the rejection. I'm terrified of the uncertainty. Right? So the internal working model is still sort of negative, that other people is so unpredictable. So it's not, again, not safe. But I'm also not important enough because I don't feel I have any control of the outcome. So they know they need to connect with others. They know that they have the need to be taken care of, but they are always terrified and assume that they're going to be rejected because that's what they learn. Right.
I can imagine this really comes up in affair repair when you really need your view of yourself is all messed up because of what happened or is all confused or unsettled and you really need care. But did you want to jump in with something similar or different, Naomi?
And I really appreciate that description. I think it so crystallizes it. And I'm thinking, if you had that unpredictable caregiver where sometimes you could get love and sometimes you couldn't, and then you happen to be in a marriage where your partner cheats, it's almost like it would reinforce the worst thing.
Right.
Instead of reinforcing the best thing, right?
That's right.
So you can sort of see it could activate where a healthy marriage where that doesn't happen could reassure you that you are worthy. It sounds like you're saying it would shake anybody, even if you had great caregiving, but boy, if you had anything that was missing there, oof, it sounds like it's going to go right to that injury and just.
That's right. It's basically perpetuate that belief that I already feel like I'm not lovable, I'm not important, I don't matter. And it just proves that I'm right. Right. And then I have learned that nobody can be trusted. Nobody will really stay with me, that, they're just going to be gone at some point. And this just proves that I'm right. Right. So the resistance and the fear intensify.
It just, you got kicked in an old bruise.
That's right. It's like this is the sore spot, and they just got hit at your sore spot over and over.